Today we are celebrating the Feast of Pentecost, which is also the Feast of the Holy Spirit. In the readings for today from the Gospel of John and Paul's first letter to the Corinthians, we have images of the Holy Spirit to help us understand who the Holy Spirit is and what the Holy Spirit does. But in reality, most people find the Holy Spirit rather difficult to imagine. In fact, the scriptures give us multiple images of the Holy Spirit. For example, the Holy Spirit is often associated with the dove, who appears at Jesus' baptism and descends on Jesus to show the unity of Jesus with God and God's love for God's Son. In the reading for today, the Holy Spirit is a flame of fire who takes away the disciples' fear and gives them courage. In that same reading, the Holy Spirit arrives with a great rush of wind to show God's power, the power with which God will truly give us new life. Elsewhere in John's Gospel, there are two further images of the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit is sent by the risen Jesus to be our comforter when we are in darkness, and our advocate when we have lost our way. Today I am in the Church of St. Ignatius of Loyola, near the Boston College campus where I teach. I want to share with you two stained glass windows that depict the Holy Spirit in very vivid colors and with light. The first of these images is above the cross on the main altar. Today the cross is draped in white to remind us that Jesus is risen at Easter. But the cross also depicts Jesus' deep suffering, his agony, his feeling even of forsakenness by God. If you look at the window above the crucifix, however, we see the Holy Spirit, who has always been present with Jesus, even in his suffering. The Holy Spirit comes to us in suffering, fear, and affliction. The second window which I want to share with you is on the side of the church. In fact, it is the last of the stations of the cross. And in this image, Mary is cradling the body of her dead son in her arms. We have to remember that only shortly before, Mary was also at the foot of the cross, trying to comfort him with her presence, even though her own heart was broken. The Holy Spirit has been with her the whole time, just as he has been with Jesus. The Holy Spirit is with us when we try to comfort others. The Holy Spirit is with us in our own devastation and mourning. I would like you to imagine a third scenario. This one is not depicted in the stained glass windows, but it is described in the reading for today. In this scene, Mary and the other disciples are in a house hidden behind a locked door. They are afraid that the executioners who took Jesus might also come for them. But suddenly, Jesus is there with them in their midst. Jesus is still bearing the wounds of his suffering, deep wounds that will never heal. But despite his lasting wounds, Jesus already has new life, and he shares with them the gift of his peace. In the presence of the risen Jesus, the Holy Spirit appears in wind and as flames of fire. The Holy Spirit gives the disciples courage to go forth with a new mission to preach the gospel. And they are also given a marvelous gift of communication. They speak from the heart, and they are understood by people with whom they thought they shared no common language. It is not only in first century Palestine that people are put to unjust death, that they linger in affliction and forsakenness, or that they fear the knock of the executioner on their door. In Syria, children are shot down in the streets or destroyed by bombs from the skies, and their parents are left to mourn and bury them. In war-torn places in our world, such as the Democratic Republic of Congo, mothers and fathers mourn their daughters who are raped and murdered. The same in Ciudad Juarez, Mexico, where girls are killed simply because they are girls. Right here in the United States, my own country, young people are also taken by senseless violence. Sometimes they too are shot in the streets in random acts. Sometimes they are killed by police officers. The rate of teenage suicide in this country is astounding, and parents are left to grieve and mourn so deeply at their own children's despair and their sudden and unexpected loss. On a more daily basis, those of us who are parents know many times of trying to accompany our children through crises and afflictions. And sometimes those afflictions seem almost too great to surmount. In fact, every person in this world faces suffering during their lives. Suffering comes to all of us, and sometimes it is indeed a crushing burden. Where is our hope in all of this darkness? The Holy Spirit is an unexpected light to show us a new way. The Holy Spirit gives us the gifts of wisdom, understanding, compassion, forgiveness, and hope for a better future. The Holy Spirit is God's love in person, poured into our hearts by the risen Jesus. Our world is so deeply in need of the Holy Spirit, and today we can pray, "Come, Holy Spirit." To you we give praise.